Are you worried that you aren't saving enough money for retirement? You might be better off than you think, actually. According to the latest data from Principal, less than half of Americans say they can meet their financial obligations today while also saving for retirement. But in reality, the numbers might tell a different story. Here to discuss, we've got Chris Littlefield, who is Principal's President of Retirement and Income Solutions. Great to have you here in studio with us, Chris.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
Absolutely. So, let's talk about this. It seems like people feel they're in worse off shape than they actually might be. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think certainly the inflation has really had a pernicious effect on the American consumer. I think people talk about the 3% headline inflation rate, but I don't think that really captures the impact that inflation has had, combined with the depletion of pandemic era savings. And so I think people are really feeling that stress. And so when you talk to people and less than half say, I don't feel I can do both, manage my current financial situation as well as save for retirement savings, that's natural. But what we see in our survey data is that a number of working Americans are actually making a big effort to save. We've seen a big increase in deferral rates and savings rates. We've seen half of the people starting to save in our survey. We've seen another half that are increasing their rates, and about a quarter of people say that they're increasing their rates as their salary is increasing. So adopting good retirement savings habits.
When it comes to retirement savings as well, since you bring that up, and the habits that we need to put together, Principal has found that Americans' perception of their ability to save is different than the reality of the situation. So how do you kind of change the habits that are going to be effective in saving for retirement as well?
Yeah, it really, a lot of working Americans just don't know what to do. And so being able to provide advice and have somebody that you trust, a lot of the retirement plan providers are able to offer free resources at the worksite that people can go to and start talking to. And the ability to talk to somebody, a financial advisor, somebody that can help them make decisions is really impactful, because people just don't really know what to do and how do they get themselves out of this particular problem that they're in.
I want to do a little perception versus reality here. One perception that and one perception that Principal has found out as well to be true is the retirement savings gap between men and women. Why are we seeing women struggle to save as much as male counterparts right now?
Yes, I think it's a great point. In our Global Financial Inclusion Survey that Principal conducted, we found that women lag men across nearly every measure of financial inclusion. Women are, when you ask them the question, can you manage both your immediate financial as well as your retirement long-term savings? Less than 40% of women say that they're comfortable doing that, and over 50% of men say that they're comfortable doing that. And their retirement balances reflect that. Women's retirement balances within plans that Principal supports are 44% lower than men. And there's a lot of explanations that we're well aware of. The wage gap continues to be a challenge. Many times the caregiving role is really impacting that ability. And so there's a lot of reasons for it, and it really speaks to the need for personalized advice. If we just go with a one set solution for all men and women throughout the workplace, people of color, women, you're not going to have a good outcome, and so it really needs to be personalized. We need to deal with those issues that are specific to women.
Yeah, good to highlight those factors as well. We got to do a lot more work to close the gaps on many of those instances. Chris, as you think about more broadly the differing in generations as well, it was really interesting. One of the stats that I was looking across that came from Principal as well, 41% of millennials think they're going to have financial freedom to live and do as they wish in retirement, yet the generation's collective wealth is up nearly $10 trillion in just 4 years, according to some Fed data here. So which generation and how are you seeing generations prepare differently for retirement?
Yeah, so I think what we're seeing in the baby boomer generation and in Gen X, we're actually seeing a change in behavior to change over a quarter of them. Nearly a third of those generations are changing their savings habits because they're changing their view on when they're going to be able to retire. And so we're seeing an increase in savings from that generation. If we look at Generation Z or the millennials, it's still in the understanding phase of retirement. So a surprising statistic that came out of the survey is that nearly 30% of Gen Z started saving because they didn't realize they were even eligible to save. And so there's this lack of understanding of what's available at the workplace. And so I think a lot of those generations that are earlier in their career just really need to work with their employer and understand the benefits that are already available to them that won't cost them anything.
Yeah, take that full match.
Yes,
why not?
absolutely.
Don't leave money on the table. Chris Littlefield, who is Principal's President of Retirement and Income Solutions. Chris, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Brad.